Today in All Sports Central, we'll be going over 5 reasons why the LSU Tigers will go on to win the 2020 National Championship in New Orleans. But just so you know, right off the bat, this is not my official prediction for this video. That will be coming out in a couple of days. In the meantime, this is just 5 reasons why I think LSU has a great chance of winning the national championship. First off, obviously Joe Burrow. He's arguably had the best season by a quarterback in college football history. He's got 5,200 yards already. Absolutely insane. 55 passing touchdowns, plus an additional 4 rushing touchdowns. So what you got to consider here is if he gets, well, he's obviously getting a touchdown in this game, he will hit 60 total touchdowns on this season. And that is an absolutely insane thing to comprehend. That is a crazy stat. He's completed 77% of his 2019 passes. Another thing to note, his offense averages 48.9 points per game, which, if you don't know, most teams average right around 35 points per game at this point of the season. Most good teams, for that matter. And 48.9, almost 50, that is crazy. 564 total yards per game as well. Another crazy stat once again. Number 2 is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was limited in the college football playoff semifinal game against Oklahoma, as you may know. He had a leg injury, and it looks like he's going to be at full strength next week for the college football playoff championship game. And I think that if he's at full strength, this LSU team is going to be something, they're going to be really, really tough. He's one of the more underrated running backs of the 2019 season, in my opinion. I mean, no one really talks about him because guess what? You got Joe Burrow, which, I mean, rightfully so, but he's got 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns, along with another 400 yards receiving. And his return is going to be a huge boost for this LSU offense. And this Clemson defense is going to have to play great start to finish if they're going to even have a chance at beating LSU, especially with Edwards here again. He's had a really good season as well. You can't forget about him. Number 3 is going to be the defense on the rise for LSU. This LSU defense is peaking at the right time, no doubt. The past 3 to 4 games have been really good defensively. And as you may remember, back at the beginning of the season, they allowed 38 points to Texas, and they also allowed 38 points to Vanderbilt. So especially the Vanderbilt one. That was pretty concerning how they allowed 38 points to them. And they also allowed like 30, I think, to Ole Miss too. With the last 4 games, they've done really, really well defensively, actually. They've only allowed 7 points to Texas A&M, really good, and then they also only allowed 10 to Georgia in the SEC championship game, and that's no regular season game. That's in the SEC championship, so that's pretty insane. Divinity returns from a suspension as well on defense, so that's going to be really helpful. Also, Delpit, he's going to be back to full strength in this game, hopefully. Of course, he's had a lot of injuries this season. He's been pretty banged up, and it will be really helpful to have that safety back for this LSU team. And also, just going back, I mean, with allowing only 10 points to Georgia, you got to remember, Georgia's got Jake Fromm. They've got a really, really good offense, and to allow only 10 points to them, and especially against Oklahoma. They did allow 4 touchdowns to Oklahoma, but then again, LSU put up 63 in that game. So you gotta remember that as well. Number 4 is going to be the receiving core for LSU. The combination of Burrow and his receiving core is going to be absolutely brutal to stop for Clemson. And Clemson does have one of the better passing defenses in college football. But nonetheless, I mean, LSU's got Joe Burrow, and they've got Jamar Chase, who's got more than 1,500 yards receiving this entire season. And they have another wide receiver who's got almost 1,500, Justin Jefferson. He's another one. He's got 1,400 right now, and he should hit 1,500 in this game if everything goes right. They also have Marshall and tight end Moss, who both have over 500 yards each. I know tight end Moss, I think he's got 600. Both those players as well, both those receivers really are helpful for Burrow. And you know how Burrow's accuracy, of course, he's got 77% on all of his passes this entire season. He is brutal to stop. I mean, honestly, for Clemson, they're going to have to be able to put pressure on LSU and put pressure on Joe Burrow if they're even going to have a chance. And the problem for LSU there, or the problem for Clemson there, is that LSU's offensive line is really a good sight for this offense here. But yeah, Burrow's accuracy is very tough to stop. I mean, this receiving core in itself is going to be very tough for Clemson. Number 5, and the last one, is going to be the momentum for LSU. Looking at their previous 4 games, once again, they beat Oklahoma 63-38. That's 9 touchdowns that they put on Oklahoma. They beat Georgia, also number 4 ranked in the country at that time, 37-10. They beat up Texas A&M 50-7, and they also beat Arkansas 56-20. In those 4 games, LSU has averaged 51 points, which tell me how many teams that you see average 51 points at the end of the season. And also, you got to consider they played Oklahoma and Georgia, 2 teams in the top 4, and they still have an average of 51 points in their previous 4 games. They're red hot at the right time, no doubt about that. And I think for Clemson, honestly, this should make for a good game, no doubt about it. And I'll give you guys my prediction in a couple of days. But man, LSU is going to be brutal to stop in this game. And Clemson's going to have to play really, really well from start to finish if they're even going to have a chance. If Joe Burrow gets off to a fast start and he gets a good rhythm going, it's going to be brutal for them to be able to stop him. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on these 5 reasons. Let me know what you think in the comments below of the game. Also, let me know your score predictions too in the meantime. I will have my official prediction for this game, I think either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not sure. But yeah, be sure to stay tuned for that. Looking forward to the game, of course. It is now a week from today. So yeah, once again, thank you all for watching though. Be sure to stay tuned for more from All Sports Central, and I will see you all later.